All right, we're going to be doing an oil change today on the 2024 Porsche Cayenne. And yes, I'm doing it a DIY project in my garage. I've been looking around YouTube. There's some stuff out there. There are a few people out there doing a good enough job recording that stuff. I decided to do mine. This thing is brand new. Well, it's about a year old now. It's a bit of an experiment for me. It's a second vehicle that I own from Porsche Cayenne. Same exact model. It's a coupe 3-liter V6 turbo base model. The experiment is that most of these vehicles in their instructions, whatever, in their normal usage, they apparently consume up to a liter of oil per 1,000 miles. And I personally think that shouldn't be that way, that it's obscene, that the brand new engine should not consume that much oil. And the reason that this one is the experiment one is because this is my second vehicle, and I did a break in on this properly. I did a 0 to 800 miles on the basic whatever the oil change was in there. And then I changed that oil to 0W20 Motul. I have it over there in the FCP Euro box. It just came in yesterday. So, and then I've done 3,000 miles, and then I've done a dealer 10,000 miles oil change. And I just went to Florida trip and back, so I did another 27-ish hundred miles. So I'm closing on a total of 4,000 miles on the oil from the dealer, the mobile one that they put into these cars. And it had not consumed as much oil as my previous vehicle has. So I'm doing these oil changes, trying to figure it out if this, oil change or oil consumption thing is really caused, but what they're saying it's caused, or is it normal, or if it's abnormal, or it's caused because of the improper break-ins of these engines or what. So I'm just basically trying to figure this out, and hopefully whoever's out there, trying to do their own DIY will find this useful. Also, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the oil I use. I use CP Euro to buy all that stuff. And here, let me just drag this box over there. This is recommended by FCP Euro and just basically online community. This is Motul W20 C20 Porsche specific. So here it is. I mean, you can default to whichever oil you prefer or like. I believe that Motul makes a great product. It's a Porsche specific. Again, here it is. So yeah, there's other things out there that are also great, but I've used that and I'm pretty happy with it. So there are a couple of other products that seem to be as good as or better, but yeah, here I am using that. In terms of the filter and other stuff that you're gonna need, what did I do with my knife? There it is. In terms of the filter and drain plug, there you go. It's kind of sort of whatever comes from the website, whatever comes with the package, let's say. It's a Pure Flux, I believe that is. It comes with a gasket. And then there's a drain plug. I usually retain the OEM one, and I just do the crush washer on it, and I keep that one on the side. So that's really it. Let me get the car on the ramps. I'll show you how to take down the bottom part of the of this carbon fiber looking plate to get to the drain plug. I use ramps, so let me get them out, put the cars on. It just makes the job easier, makes it easier to get in under the vehicle And then once that protector cover or whatever thing is down, I roll it off of it, and I undo the plug and I drain the oil that way. But yeah, give me a minute to do that, and I'll show you how that goes. By the way, this is an approximate set of tools you're gonna need: the drain pan, the chocks, the ramps. I never owned the VW Group products before, so I have to buy these whatever they call them, start point sets. You're gonna need one of these to. There's about 12.5 screws in there that you're gonna have to undo, and obviously you're gonna need 20. I believe that is. This one's been beat on for a long time. I believe that's a 25 millimeter to undo your filter. And that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to it, but there's just a lot of fiddling around with this stuff when I get to the filter. So this is what it looks like once you get it up in the air. What is it? I don't know, 6, 7, 8, whatever inches. Sort of good enough to maybe my light. Good enough to get underneath the vehicle and undo this plastic thing. I'm gonna try to record this as kind of best as I can. It's difficult to get underneath in there with the camera, but yeah, that's here. This whole thing comes off. I don't know why they didn't create like service opening, so that way you don't have to undo 25 different nuts and bolts all around this thing. But that's the way it is, so I'll get to it. So here it is. There's these screws, however many of them, I don't know, 12.5 or so. They go all around this thing, and then there's 2 on the middle right here. They're a larger size. I don't know what I did with there it is. It's I don't know what it is. It's T30 apparently. Yeah, T30. It goes in here. These are pretty chunky though. You have to undo these 2, and then this whole thing drops pretty much. It's light. You don't have to worry about it being heavy or anything. Weighs virtually nothing. There you go. These are 2 proper M6 bolts. Oh, fuck. Hold on. And then this whole thing kind of pops out. And just move it to the side. Jesus Christ, it's dirty. Move it to the side. And there it is. Well, apparently, dealer did such a great job replacing my oil last time that it's now leaking. And that is one reason I don't like going to the dealers. I like replacing that stuff on my own. So whoever did this last time did not tighten it good enough. By the way, this is just a reminder of, cleaning your car once in a while. This amount of sand is from 5 days trip to Florida and back. Just I cleaned the car and everything, and it's just kind of sort of sitting there. So clean your car. Also, these screws, what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm sure some people are gonna say, why don't you use the vacuum pump and, you know, the vacuum the oil out of the vehicle. Well, I don't own the vacuum pump, first of all. Second of all, I believe in, you know, proper drainage of the oil. That way all the, you know, old stuff and sludge gets out of it. And yeah, I don't know, I think it's a better way of doing it. But anyways, let's get to the filter thing. Let me position the camera the way that you can see it and get enough light in here. And before I give you an overall perspective, I want to show a couple of things when it comes to removing a filter. So on this side, so left and right side of the cover of the filter, there's a metal thing. You just kind of pull on it with just one finger. Same thing on that way, on that side. Just pull on it, and then kind of remove your oil cap, and then just kind of here, just pull on it a little bit. Gotta go gentle, don't pull too hard. And when it comes up, it unveils your filter. So remove that, place it somewhere, don't step on it or anything. That filter comes off. You unplug your everything is aluminum in this vehicle. There's nothing to, there you go. You unplug this thing over here, just like that. Just leave it hanging. And then you gotta have a few more things. You're gonna need one of these. And I leave these clips up like that. Come up easily. I just didn't wanna break my nails. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and your filter comes up. So as soon as your filter came out, it's right there. Don't lose these bolt screws. They're very, come on, focus. They're very specific to this filter, so make sure not to lose these. Once you do, then this part, essentially your air intake, sort of comes up a little bit that way from the cover. And cover is just sitting on a few spots, one here, one there, and I think 1 or 2 on the back. That cover is what's sitting above pretty much everything, right? So I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Kind of sort of, I forgot where you lift first. You gotta remove these rubber intakes first. And this thing sort of comes up like that. And when you're installing it back, it's important to remember that it sits on those 2 things in there. You gotta slide them on the top of it. And that pretty much unveils your turbo. Be careful, it's hot, even though the vehicle was sitting for like an hour and a half trying to get it cold. Because, you know, you want to make sure you burn your hands, right? Otherwise it doesn't count. So, and there's more plastic that needs to be removed. Thankfully, on the 2024 models, you no longer have to remove these things. Because on the previous model, you had to remove these first. There's clips underneath there. Then you had to remove this one, the big one. I'm gonna show you how that goes in a second. Let me get my tools. All right, so this is how that goes. So the right and left, we do not need to remove. The middle one, you can get a knife or something sharp like that. you undo that little pin. You don't pull it all the way, just move it out a little bit. As soon as you do that, this whole thing lifts like that. As soon as that lifted, all you have to do, I hope that gives a better view. It's just sort of pop it. Don't pull it too hard, just kind of pop it. There you go. There you go. There you go. And the reason you need to pop it is because the next step is, well, you can either try to get this filter out without removing this, which in my experience is just a pain in the ass. You're getting oil all over your engine, all over your, everything, and it's just not worth it. So all you have to do is remove these 3 screws here and these 3 here. And as soon as that thing comes off, you'll get plenty of space to move about. Let me get more tools to remove these screws. These 3 essentially using the same thing, T30. So you just kind of have to undo these here. So as soon as that's done, as soon as all six bolts, whatever, screws out, the next step is to pop this thing. And this thing is kind of always on the way, but it's not too bad. So you just kind of pop it out that way, it comes right out. It's a very light aluminum torsion or whatever bar. I don't know, but it's probably adds a level of rigidity to this. Anyways, this thing, like I said, it's always kind of dangling on your way. It's just above the filter. And here's that filter. However, before I do the filter, as you can see, I got the car down from the ramps. I'm gonna climb underneath, drain the oil. Once I drain the oil, I'll let it, drip for another, 5 to 10 minutes, whatever. Then I kind of loosen the filter. I let the remaining oils drain. And once it drains enough, I will just pop the filter out. It's a bit hectic to do that. I'll show you once I get to it. All right, and we're down here by the drain now. And I guess we're here to see the color of the oil, right? So after what did they say? 35 or some 40 something 100 miles. Don't remember exactly how many miles, but I want to say it's a little over 4,000 miles on the Mobile One oil. No, of course. Oils is nice and hot, so we can get our hands burned a little. It's actually not that hot, it's about 100 degrees or so. Yeah, I've done that the last time. That's why you don't buy cheap fucking tools. See? There you go. You can go all over it. But that's how we'll learn, right? Done that the last time, I thought I did something wrong, but no, I guess this is just a design of that fucking can. Because there's not enough air in there, it just starts fucking spewing all over the place. And I believe I solved the mystery why. Let me get my lights. why it was leaking. When they replaced the crush washer on these, there's usually only one. For some reason, this one has two. The replacement comes like that with one. It's just one crush washer. This one has two for some reason. Metal one or aluminum one and the other one. I don't know why. I don't know who did this and why they did it the way they did it, but here it is. So, lesson learned. Oh, and by the way, I cleaned up the mess as much as I could, and I left the rest of the oil to drain. So whatever this amount is, I leave it there for good, 10-15 minutes to kind of drip out as much as possible. I think it's about 7.5 quarts, like 7 liters of oil, that is. And they send you 8, but there's always a little left, so it's 5 and 3 single ones. But yeah, so give it another 5 to 10 minutes to drain out completely. I had the vehicle warmed up a bit. It's about 130 degrees or something like that. The bottom of the oil pan was relatively cold, but when the oil starts coming down from the Topski and the rest of the hot areas, it gotten significantly warmer. So yeah, make sure you burn your hands when you do an oil change, otherwise it won't count. So no more drippage, right? Oh, barely any. So let's say it's good enough. Let me close that up properly. Also, I'm hoping for some better light, and here's the reason. I don't know if the camera will set you a good perspective here. Let me change that a little bit. There you go. The reason I like to keep the OEM plug, I don't know, because look at this one. This one doesn't, speak quality to me. It's not necessarily bad. It'll probably do the job, but this one just looks better. And I don't know. I prefer to keep the OEM one at least until the point, it's reusable. All right. Not a whole lot of space here, but just wipe it off nice and clean. Put that thing back in there. Again, wipe it off a bit more. A whole lot of wiping and cleaning today with this stuff. Get it good and tight. It says 20 pounds or something, 22-ish, I don't know. I set it approximately to 20, so. Feels like more than enough. But I'll come back to it in a bit and retighten it. Let that ring settle a bit. So it's not gonna leak like it last time. I hope that this is a good enough angle. Filter is right there. Sorry, I'm doing it with my phone. I hope that's good enough angle for everyone. Well, it's still extremely hot. For everyone to see here. So I don't blind you with the light. There you go. The next step is 25mm head. Get your towel. Jam it in there. Because oil will go all over the place, I promise you that. So, just as best as possible. It's not gonna get, you know, it's not gonna be perfectly clean, but it'll prevent some of the oil going all over the place. All right. I think they also say the filter is also 20 pounds or 25 pounds, something like that. I don't know why they position the filter the way that they position it here. This is not most convenient, but that's the way it is. Get another towel. Make sure you got plenty of towels before doing this, because oil is going to be all over the place. This is what your filter looks like after 4-something thousand miles. That looks relatively clean to me. I don't see a point of cutting into it and try to figure it out if there's any metal shavings on there. I'm not trying to be, too scientific on this. I'm just trying to show you guys how to do that. So the next step would be, let me position the camera for you. All right. The next step is, I believe you twist that and just kind of pull on it. Goes into the box. There's still some oil in there. Some people prefer to blast it with blast it clean with the brake cleaner. I personally don't think it needs to be that clean. It needs to be clean-ish. You get a flat screwdriver, you pop the old seal off, comes right up. And you open the new filter. There's a gasket that's right in there as well. Brand new, empty. Goes, pop it back in there, twist it like it locks in place. And then put the rubber seal back on. Of course, it won't go on without the fight. There you go. That's your filter back together. Your filter back together. Squeeze it back in there. Hand tighten it as much as you can. Don't forget your towel, because otherwise it's not gonna smell good. All right. Get that back on there. And 20 pounds it is. I don't have the most sophisticated wrench, but kind of does the job. I guess I need to give myself a better torque wrench than that to be more precise. let's say I go to 25. There you go. You don't want it super tight because it's all plastic in there. And yeah, that looks good. Actually, I found online, they say the filter is 25 Newton meters, 18 to 20 pounds, feet, whatever. I got it to about 20, so it felt it right. So I guess that's what I'm going with. All right, so I mean, that's really that. There's not much to it, right? The filter is in, the old oil is out, and pretty much goes all back where it came from. So let me reassemble all that real quickly, and yeah, and I'll show you that. I'll show you that oil. It's a interesting green color. I guess I should point out that thing does not go any other way. There's really kind of sort of one way you can put it on. The way you check it works is these latches will retract all together both at the same time. So you just put it on and then you check, make sure they move. That way you can open your hood later. All right, and I guess the last but not least is well, it's not last really, but it's one of the last things to do at the top of the engine is for your cover to go back on. It looks relatively clean today, so I'm not doing any extra cleaning. You gotta make sure it sits right, and then it kind of make sure you don't break anything. Also, very important. Yeah, it's a little tricky though, but. For whatever reason, something is not latched properly, these side things will not close on you anyways. It will, there you go. It will not let you lock them in place. So, this looks good. Yeah. It's a little going back and forth, but overall it's not too difficult. There's I'm sure I know there are cars that it's, you know, it can be done much faster and easier on, but that's what we're dealing with here. Oh, and by the way, I'm not doing the oil reset today, simply because I don't have a tool, first of all, for it. So every so on I still kind of have to, you know, show up to a dealer or go to one of the local places that will be able to reset the oil change for me, which it is every 10,000 miles on that thing. But yeah, I'm not doing that obviously because I got no tool, but I'm planning on getting one because when it comes to doing brakes, you're gonna need it regardless, because in order to replace the rear pads, you're gonna need to let the computer know to release your parking brake, because without it you won't be able to get the pads out, I believe. I'm not sure, I've never done it before, but I've seen some guys do it online and they saying you have to have that tool. I think it's $500 or $600 on FCP Euro. So probably when I get to that, I'll get that tool. Otherwise, I'll just show up to one of those Porsche shops once in a while and reset my oil changes. So I'll get back to pouring the oil back in the car. I'm not sure you need to see that, but I'll record a short time lapse. By the way, I wanted to show you the module. Apparently, it's API Performance SP. Used to have an approval of C20 for Porsches, but now apparently it's Ford as well. So it turns out the Ford and Porsche using the same exact approval ratings for their oils. I did not know that. All right. Of course, I don't have a funnel, because why would I, right? And then you just, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like, it's green. It's very light green, but it's green. That's going to be a minute. I don't want to spill it either. I got to double check online, but I believe it says 7.4. I usually add 7, then I run it for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, or warm it up a bit. And I check the oil level, and then I add a half, and then I warm up again, and then I add another half, because this thing doesn't have a dipstick, or it's a bit of a pain in the rear, making sure it's properly leveled. You don't want to overfill it either. So, okay, by the way, I've checked a little more online. So I see most people using these vacuum pumps for this oil change, and I get it. It's less hassle, less work. So I don't know, maybe I will get one for the next time. I think it's like a good one is like about $200 or something like that, $250. I guess in the long run it does make sense. Saves a bunch of time. You don't have to do this and, you know, climb down the car and do all this back and forth with the bottom cover that pretty much takes the most time to undo. But yeah, I've cleaned up a bit. The old oil is in there. About to bring the car down from the ramps, and there it is. I'll go drive around a bit, get a little bit more temperature into the engine, into the oil, and once that happens, I'll be able to get the proper measurement on the dash, because like I said, there is no dipstick. And yeah, that's it. That wraps it up. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful to someone, and see you next time.